Senator Rand Paul is not happy with YouTube. He recently ran afoul of the platform's rules about misinformation, specifically on COVID-19. And he earned, for his efforts, a 1-week suspension on his account. On Tuesday evening, Rand Paul tweeted about having this video pulled from YouTube and the suspension, saying that it was, quote, a badge of honor. Left-wing cretins at YouTube banning me for 7 days for a video that quotes 2 peer-reviewed articles saying cloth masks don't work. So, okay, so here's the interesting thing. I love how they call YouTube left-wing, when the most dominant channels on YouTube are conservative channels. One of the most dominant YouTubers is a conservative, is Tim Pool. I know. Oh, what are you talking about? Tim Pool, center left. Bullshit. Center left who just happens to echo all the right-wing talking points. Sure. And then and then says, oh, civil war, it's coming. There's going to be a civil war. It's going to be a race war. It's going to be a civil war. Come on. And by the way, Tim Pool, millions of views, makes $600,000 a month. Come on, dude. Seriously. No, but they're left-wingers at YouTube. No, they prefer right-wingers. And then, of course, you look at Facebook, it's even worse. The top Facebook posts, the top Facebook pages is all Daily Wire, Dan Bongino, Fox News, et cetera. No left-wing channels. Come on, dude. Come on. Ridiculous. But look, at this point, and by the way, Tim Pool, I do got to give him some credit. Tim Pool knows how to put out disinformation that goes under the radar when it comes to YouTube, but also because he had connections with YouTube as well. And so it's kind of a mutually beneficial arrangement, but he doesn't go completely afoul of their community guidelines, their policies. He's very careful about straddling the line because he wants to make sure that he continues getting clicks and revenue. And so Rand Paul, not so careful. In fact, in his video, he said there was a danger. He said there was danger in mask mandates. Yes, mask mandates are dangerous. Somehow, according to him, more dangerous than catching COVID-19. Somehow, the thing that reduces your chance of catching or giving coronavirus to other people is somehow more dangerous. That doesn't make any sense. The coronavirus itself. No, it doesn't make any sense. Where is the danger in wearing masks and mask mandates? I mean, again, there's a clear danger in not wearing the mask. I mean, the 18 plus months of a pandemic that has killed 4.3 million people worldwide and slammed hospitals now with mainly anti-vaxxers, anti-maskers, as well as kids that are too young for the vaccine, proves that. But okay, go off, king. Jeez. Again, it's one thing to not like to be told to do something. I don't like wearing masks. I think wearing a mask sucks. I think a lot of you agree. But it's another thing to say that, oh, no, masks are harmful. They don't work. No, they actually do work. They clearly reduce the possibility of catching or transmitting the virus. Are they 100% effective? No. Neither are seatbelts, y'all. But we have irrefutable proof that seatbelts work and have, in fact, saved lives and are therefore more effective than doing nothing. Now, of course, it's a bad analogy because it turns out that car accidents are not contagious like a virus is. So that's why it's even more important for people to wear the mask and get the vaccine so they don't spread that around to other people. Okay? But here's the thing. Wearing a piece of cloth over your face has literally no detrimental effects on your health. It just doesn't. Doctors can sit there and wear masks in surgery, doing surgery for 8 to 12 hours. Oh, but I can't breathe. Now, what kind of special snowflake can't breathe in a mask. Come on. It's a ridiculous narrative. Condoms and birth control aren't 100% effective either, but that's not a reason to not use them at all. Again, this is the conservative narrative on a lot of things, by the way. If it somehow doesn't work 100% of the time, we should completely discard it and never use it at all. That's literally throwing out the baby with the bathwater at this point. They use this on gun control. Oh, yeah? If you don't stop 100% of the gun murders by using gun control, then you shouldn't do gun control at all because it infringes on my freedom. Even though it's been shown that it does massively cut down on gun deaths. And there's evidence of this. And this is the thing that we derive our authoritative stance on. Evidence. This is something that they do not have. The anti-maskers and the anti-vaxxers do not have the evidence to prove their side, which is why we're right. Anyway. So let me give you an example, right? So now, in Kentucky, Rand Paul State has seen a 139% increase in COVID cases over the past 2 weeks. Okay. Kentucky has a lower vaccination rate, has a lower mask rate. And so you have doctors in the middle of this, doctors and nurses, health officials at the center of these COVID hotspots that are telling people, wear a mask, get the vaccine. You have former COVID skeptics in the hospital that are saying, we should have gotten the vaccine. Don't be stupid like us. Get vaccinated. But no, Rand Paul completely disagrees and disregards all of that. Here's what he said, quote, saying cloth masks work when they don't actually risk lives, as someone may choose to care for a loved one with COVID while only wearing a cloth mask. This is not only bad advice, but also potentially deadly misinformation. Hey, you know what that person should do? If they're eligible, get a vaccine. But again, it's the argument of, well, it doesn't work 100%. You could still get COVID in my hypothetical. And so therefore, you shouldn't wear the mask at all. And look, the other thing is, understand that vaccines aren't 100% effective, like 99% effective. But you're going to have breakthrough cases with vaccines. Every doctor knows this. The CDC lists this on the website. Numerous studies also have shown this, have borne this out. But they show, all the evidence shows that breakthrough cases, while they do happen, are also incredibly rare. And that those who experience breakthrough cases are more likely to be asymptomatic. And if they do end up getting sick, it generally tends to be mild, which does not require hospitalization and also does not kill you. And for those who had it like Rand Paul, understand that there is a little bit of immunity there since you've had it before, but the CDC still recommends that you get your vaccine because it does protect you more. That natural immunity does not protect you the way that getting a vaccine does. So, and look, why not do it, right? It's literally free. I know. There's one medication, and it's a result of our barbaric healthcare system, I understand, right? That when Americans see, like, oh my God, they're actually giving away life-saving medicine for free, what's the catch? No, what's the catch? There's got to be a catch to it. No, there's no catch. The government has proven that you can actually give life-saving medicine for free. I love how it's a gotcha where it's like, vaccine is free, but how come insulin isn't? Thank you for accidentally being left-wing. We've been making the same argument. Why isn't insulin free? Why isn't medication free? It's because of the politics of the situation and because right-wingers like Rand Paul think, oh, socialism bad. When in reality, socialized medicine is actually pretty goddamn good. And it would mean that all of our medications would be free. But again, this is a result of, years of our healthcare system grinding Americans in the dust, where people can't go and get their medications, can't go to a doctor. And so when something's free, I get that people are skeptical. And they should really talk to their doctor and not people like Rand Paul. Okay? So now, of course, as I mentioned, the video was pulled. So Rand Paul afterwards put out a statement on this. Quote, I think this kind of censorship is very dangerous, incredibly anti-free speech, and truly anti-progress of science, which involves skepticism and argumentation to arrive at the truth. I love how he's saying, oh, how could you be anti-progressive? All right. So Rand Paul, there's a couple of things here. Rand Paul, of course, deliberately lies about free speech. What that actually means. You know what free speech is? Free speech means the government can't go and arrest you for criticizing the government. Free speech itself has limits. No yelling fire in a crowded theater and endangering other people's lives. And in some cases, depending on what you say, you can't make verbal threats towards people, which again, based on what you say, could get you in trouble on the context. And there's of course a gray area in that as well. But basically free speech says that you can tell your senator to go and fuck off, that he's a lying sack of shit, and not get arrested for it. That's free speech. That's what that means. And in some countries, understand that free speech does not exist. Russia is a good example. I would dare someone come up to Putin and tell him he's a fuckface. I guarantee you're either going to end up having a bad accident, falling mysteriously out a window, or accidentally finding your lunch tainted with polonium. Or you just end up in prison. I mean, just ask Pussy Riot. Okay? They had a personal issue here in Russia. And so in places like that, free speech doesn't exist, where you can't go and criticize the government, where you actually can here. And that's really the difference, okay? But again, we have free speech. That's great. Criticize the government. I criticize the government all the time. And that is something I believe the Founding Fathers deemed essential, which is why they put it literally in the First Amendment. So I hate when right-wingers lie about what free speech actually means and say that, well, I mean, you can say anything you want without any consequence. No, that's not true. You can say anything you want, but you're not free from consequences. And that's what that means. That's what and understand that's what right-wingers, that's what they hate about so-called cancel culture. In reality, cancel culture, which by the way, what happens when you're canceled? Has anybody ever people say some mean things about you on Twitter? Ooh, canceled. Oh, I'm so canceled. Yeah, some people have lost their $1 million or multi-million-dollar contracts on television shows. Oh, cry for this poor celebrity. Come on. What really happens? Most of the time, when you see somebody get quote-unquote canceled, they go on Fox News, they whine, they go on speaking tours, they write books and have like Netflix specials about how canceled they are. Oh my God, how I can't talk. Joe Rogan, he's got a Spotify deal for $100 million. And he talks about how it's so hard that I've been canceled so many times. Whatever, dude. Come on. Come on. You've got to be kidding me. So, cancel culture, not a thing. Ridiculous. There is free speech, and there is, of course, speech that comes with consequences. And, if you say terrible things, you should absolutely face consequences for those terrible things. So now there's more. He also misconstrues the scientific method. Okay. Rand Paul, understand Rand Paul is an eye doctor. He's an ophthalmologist. He's self-certified, guys. He's not an epidemiologist. He was not involved at all in the creation of the vaccine with actual scientists. It's up to them, the scientists, to ask the questions, to have skepticism in treatments, or do the argumentation to go through the scientific method. They did. They did. They did that already during the development period of the vaccine. And it's not up to randos like Rand Paul, literally, to do that, because they do not have the knowledge in the background to really talk about the results of that, because they don't know the process. And that said, I don't think there's anything wrong with asking for more information from a doctor and actually speaking to somebody who knows more about this stuff. I think you should definitely do that. If you're considering taking the vaccine, talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor. They will be more than happy to break it down for you in a way that you will be able to understand. That's what they're there for. Now, he added, as a libertarian leaning senator, I think private companies have the right to ban me if they want to. Oh, well, there you go. No question, right? So in this case, I'll just channel that frustration into ensuring the public knows that YouTube is acting as an arm of the government and censoring their users for contradicting the government. You hear me? Government bad. Government bad. You know what? We wouldn't need the government, and I'm not saying the federal government. These are local governments, okay? Local, state, city governments that are saying, we need to put some mask mandates in. And then you have the bigger state government saying, no, you don't. And these are Republican governors who are in this massive dumb-off that they've been having since Donald Trump, because they realize that their audience really likes stupid people and wants to vote for stupid people. And there it is. Now, look, we wouldn't need mask mandates if people actually had volunteered to do this, if they had masked up and vaccinated as soon as they were able to. But at least, again, he recognizes that YouTube is a private corporation and they can do what they want. But the rest of what he says is garbage. What you think acting as the arm of the government is back? Wait till you see what Fox News did during the Trump administration, or what it, to be fair, MSNBC does, and the media, mainstream media does during Democratic administrations. Yeah, literal state TV bullshit at the expense of factual information, at least, especially when it comes to Fox News. Private corporations, media companies, guess what? As a result of deregulation, are not required to tell you the truth. They're not. That is, of course, thanks to people like Rand Paul and conservatives who think, truth. But what's truth? We're going to make things up. Alternative facts, as Kellyanne Conway had put it. And so you want to talk about that. You want to talk about acting as arm of the government or being a stenographer. Well, mainstream media kind of got a big problem with that. Conservative media, Fox News included. So, if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.